presentation. And like I said, for everybody, we'll do a brief introduction of Brittany McCoy, our speaker for today. You see Brittany on camera. Everybody's welcome to come off camera, but I understand, do what makes you feel comfortable. So we'll do a brief introduction, and then I'll turn it over to Brittany to say a little bit more, and then get us started with our presentation. If y'all have questions, you're welcome to type them in the chat. Let us know. We can address those as we go. Okay. And I guess I should say who I am. I've met some of you, several of you I've met, but some of you I haven't. I'm Michael Martella. I am the program assistant at the Alliance. So I work with kind of across departments here. And if you ever need anything at the Alliance and you don't know who to reach out to me, and I'll plug you in with the right person. But Brittany is the person we're focused on today, and the message that Brittany has to deliver. So why do we choose Brittany? Well, I'm going to tell you why. Brittany's here to speak to you. Brittany has worked in hospitality for over 15 years. She's worked in management in that sector for, excuse me, my phone's ringing, for 12 of those 15 years. She transitioned into economic development in 2018, searching for a way to make meaningful impact on the lives of other people. And that's something that you all relate to, I think, as nonprofit leaders. She spent 6 years in economic development and 6 years in federal and state level grant management, project compliance, site visiting, project monitoring, and proposal development. So a lot of experience with organizational impact, grant management, grant writing, etc. Brittany's been featured in the New York Times on the impact of the professional headshot, by Glamour magazine for her journey to her vestibular migraine diagnosis and how it impacted her personal and professional life, and by H&R Block Advisors for Black History Month as a minority small business owner. So Brittany has a lot of great insights to share with us today. And because of that, I'm going to turn it over to Brittany and let Brittany have the stage.
Thank you, Michael. And if anyone has any issues hearing me, just let me know and I'll try to adjust my volume however we need. I want to share my screen. A little slow. Okay, you guys able to see that?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, so today we're going to talk about tips for process developing and implementing systems in business. So just to talk a little bit about McCoy Consulting, our vision and mission, McCoy Consulting was established to address the gap that exists for underserved and underrepresented individuals and communities in the realms of grant funding, economic development, and small business support. Leveraging our hands-on experience, expertise, and unwavering passion, we're dedicated to assisting others in realizing their highest quality of life attainable. So this is just a little bit of our team. We do have a few contractors that help us as needed. Myself, of course, I'm the owner, the founder, and the CEO. I'm also a grant manager, economic developer, and community developer. Brian Whaley, MPA. He has his master's in public administration. He's also a grant writer and economic developer in Alabama, and he has a lot of experience in public administration. And then Donna Eskridge is our assistant. She helps with customer support and services and technical assistance. The services we offer include grant writing, economic development, community development, and small business development. Okay, so these are the topics we'll cover today, starting with eForms. We'll talk about ChatGPT and AI, Canva, Wix, Adobe Editor, and then all things Google. And if I talk too fast, please let me know. I will. All right, so first up with eForms, this is a really good platform if you don't know how to put together contracts. So this can be the most simple to the most complicated. What I like most about it is that you can put in the state that you're in or that your business operates in, and it will populate all of that legal jargon for you according to your state. So if this ever loads, I'll show you what I'm talking about. So all you have to do here is go to the search bar, and let's say you want to look at a contractor agreement. For example, with McCoy Consulting, we'd be a third-party contractor with whoever we work with. So this is the contract I use. I just will type in contractor, for example. You'll see it'll give you options like an offer letter, a termination letter, agreements, an NDA. And while we're here, I'll talk about these two because these are the most common for me. I will use this as a general contract with my clients, and I also send an NDA, and that's to protect both parties' information. Another thing that I like about this is that you can set it to be just to protect your information, just the clients, or both. So let's use this one for example. I'll go ahead and search that. I'm in Louisiana at the moment, which is why Louisiana popped up.
Hey,
But let's say we
Brittany,
want to do this. Yes.
sorry to interrupt. I'm not able to see the screen you're
Oh,
on. I can see your presentation still. And I wanted to make sure we
okay.
all
Let me
able to
make
see.
sure we're sharing the right one. I'm just going to stop it and restart it where it is.
I had to do this the other day on the presentation. It doesn't, for some reason, it doesn't transition easily.
It doesn't go with me. Okay, what about now? Okay, I'll backtrack just a little bit to be on the safe side. Okay, so this was the home page and this was the search bar here. And you can just type in whatever kind of contract you're looking for. I was looking at a contractor agreement here and then the NDA, which is a non-disclosure agreement. We'll put in our state. And then you can go ahead and create the document and it will walk you through all these steps here. So if you want to preview, you can just scroll down. It'll tell you how to write it. You'll put in the client that you're entering into an agreement with, yourself or your business, the date. And as you can see, it will drop it into these corresponding paragraphs or sections of a general contract in your state. You can also click here and see a preview of it. So obviously, if you fill this out, it would show everything that you put into those blanks. So let's just go halfway through it for the sake of showing. So if you go ahead and start that contract, you can do either unilateral, which is what I was just describing a second ago. It can be either to just protect you or to protect the client, or you can do it both ways. You'll notice on the right-hand side here, the information will change according to whatever it is that you click on. So let's just say we're doing both. You'll put in if the party or the entity that you're going into business with for this job is a business or an individual. And then you'll select how many people, if that's necessary. You'll put in all of their information. And so what it will give you in the end is what I will show you in my presentation. And let me make sure it switches over with me. All right, so what it gives you in the end here will be documents that you can download. So as you can see, I have my Mississippi non-disclosure, a Mississippi residential lease agreement, and terms and conditions are all documents that I've used. You'll have your own login for your account so that you can go in anytime and edit it, open it, print it, email it, rename it, whatever it is you want to do. So it's really simple. I think it's $5 per form, or you can pay for it monthly or annually. It's really cheap. It keeps you from needing an attorney. You can do all these things yourself. And just to give you an example, these are some of their most popular documents that people will use. Things like an eviction notice, if you have tenants or rental properties, a DMV bill of sale, if you want to sell a vehicle, month-to-month rental agreement, things of that nature. All right, then next we have ChatGPT. I'm sure we're all somewhat familiar with it, but it is one of those platforms where until you get in there and play with it, it can be really, really confusing. But I'll start by saying, if you're new to it, you'll get what is called GPT 3.5. And this, as it says, this is great for everyday tasks. If you have a paid account, you'll get GPT 4. And all it does is gives you access to other GPTs, which I'll explain a little bit more when I go to the website. But it also gives you better responses. And I'll explain what I mean by that as well. And again, I'll just keep switching it this way to make sure that the correct screen is sharing and going with me with the presentation. So this is ChatGPT. Right now it's on 3.5, and I want to show you the difference between 3.5 and 4. You can type in anything. Let's say you have a business and you're trying to come up with a mission statement. So let's say, help me, or let's go back, create a mission statement for my, let's say daycare service. And you can leave it at that, or you can make it more complicated and say, I only babysit ages, I don't know, 1 to 6, whatever the case may be. You can include your state, anything you want to include. But if you just want to keep it simple, we can just type that in. And just like that, it'll give you something really simple you can use. empowering young minds to grow, learn, and thrive in a nurturing environment. Our daycare service is committed to providing a safe, supportive, and enriching space where every child is valued, respected, and encouraged to explore their curiosity, develop their potential, and build strong foundations for a lifetime of success. And just like that, we have a mission statement. So again, there's also a for version, which is paid for. Let's see if it'll let me log in. And if you aren't familiar with GPTs a ton, I want to show you some of the different ones you can access. For example, I created one myself a few days ago here, but you can go to Explore GPTs and there's endless options. You can see essentially anything. I'll go to Canva, for example, because it's one of my favorites. So this is built by Canva. And let's say you want to create a flyer for a certain event. So I'll just say a flyer for my daycare that is opening soon. It may ask you a few more questions to ask you about your vision, a color scheme, the theme. So just follow the prompts that it gives you. It says to create a flyer for your daycare opening, could you share more about the message or the theme? I'll just say the theme is fun and playful. And I'll say my color scheme is pink and white. And let's just see if that is enough information for it to carry on without me answering more questions. All right, so it's working with the GPT right now, and it's going to give a few options. Sometimes it's really on point with Canva, sometimes it's not, but it'll still give you a good basis to go off of. And by the way, if you're not super familiar with Canva, that's also part of this discussion. So as you can see, it did not give me pink and white, but it did give me a good example to start with. If you click it, it'll take you straight to Canva. I'm gonna log in again. Can you guys see the Canva page? Did that show up as well? Okay, just wanted to make sure. Because I wanted to show how easy it is to just go through. Sometimes you'll have a little funky things every now and then, like you can see that information's kind of grouped on top of each other, but all you have to do is go in and move it. But still, you didn't have to come up with this design at all. You can go in and change the colors, whatever you want them to be, just like that. I'm making it pink and white. And then I can carry on with my day, put my business information in there, my contact information, and run with it. So that's just another good example. Let's go back to our presentation. All right, so this was just another example. You guys will get this presentation, by the way, so that you know what it will look like whenever you open up ChatGPT. It even gives you some options or some ideas of things you can ask to kind of get your juices flowing. And then once again, next up is Canva. So I went ahead and put some of the price points in here for you so you can see them at a glance. There is a free version, but once we get into it, I'll show you some of the things that are paid for. They'll have a little crown next to them, just like this picture does here. I pay for it by year. I mean, $100 a year is pretty good. Can't really beat that, especially if you also have ChatGPT to use with it. All right, again, these are just your price plans. You could even do a free trial and see if you think it's worth paying for. This is for just one person, Canva Pro. You can pay for a full team, which is actually a little bit cheaper per person, or you can do the enterprise, which is if you have, 100 plus employees. So I can give you just a quick walkthrough here. If you've never used Canva, you'll have a project section here, a Magic Studio. You can just start with general templates, which will be like some of these you see down here. You can put your branding in, which would mean you'll put in your logo, your color scheme, and then anything you start with, let's click on one for example, you can automatically give it your branding. All right, I chose a terrible one to click on. That's just a Word document. We're going to go to, here we go, our project we opened earlier. So I don't have my branding in here anymore. I have a different organization that I have been working on. So for example, I can drop in the logo, and then as you can see, it gives me the color scheme for my logo. So that makes it a lot easier to match colors throughout my document to those of my color scheme. So I just wanted to share that as a little bit of an example of how easy it is to kind of play with things in Canva. But if you don't love marketing or you aren't great at it, that's as simple as it gets. If you want to start from scratch, you'll go here where it says, what do you want to design today? And this actually uses a little bit of AI to help you. So let's say, again, a flyer to open a daycare soon. And let's see what it gives us. And again, you can change the wording, the pictures, the fonts, the colors, everything in these templates. So as you see, you have a couple of options here already. I mean, there's endless options. But for people like me, it really helps if you aren't super creative. Those are just a handful of options I wanted to go through. I'll show one more thing. Let's customize this template so that you can see what options are paid for. So as you can see on some of these templates, they have Pro. So that means you have to have a paid account to actually access those. I can click on them because I have the paid account, but if you don't, then it will ask you to enter a card number so that you can get some of the more decorative options. Even some of the elements. The elements are really fun to play with. I really like the frames. This is something I wasn't familiar with initially. So let's say you have a circular logo, but maybe the way that you have it is a square. You can use the circle frame, go to your logo, and if you drop it right into that circle, it'll make it now a circular shaped logo for you instead of that square. All right, I think that's enough about Canva. All right, I see a question. Does Canva offer options to design slide decks and presentations? I haven't seen that it has that option, but something that I'll do sometimes is make videos with it. So I can show you guys that really quickly.
And Brittany, to
Yeah.
answer that question about slide decks, we do at the Alliance use Canva to make some of our slide decks. So it does
Do
have that
you?
capability, and I don't know much about it, but I know Melissa, our communications and marketing person, does. So
Oh,
Anthony, if you need someone to answer a question about slide decks in Canva, you can reach out to Melissa at the Alliance. She might be able to give you some guidance.
Of course.
thank
I was
you.
just
Oh,
fixing
look.
that.
And I was going to say, it does say presentations. I just went
Yeah.
back to it and I've never clicked on it myself. Let me pull it back up.
I actually think Canva's easier to work in than PowerPoint, quite honestly.
I do too. And there's so much
Yeah.
more you can do with it.
And then you
PowerPoint's
can
pretty limited.
download it into a PowerPoint file and use PowerPoint as the engine to for your presentation. But
Oh, yeah.
you can download it as a PDF and use slides that way.
Yeah. And I just wanted to show you, right, it's right here.
Yeah.
Presentation. Okay, let's go back to the presentation. All right, next on the list is Wix.com. I have my website through Wix, and 90% of the time, if I help someone else with theirs, I'll do it through Wix because I love all the options that it has. And you can see how affordable it is. It will give you the monthly rate, but it will charge you by the year, just an FYI. But it also shows how many people can have a login and work through it, the amount of data you can store. And typically that's in the form of videos, at least by my experience, and photos, how much marketing you can do. And it's a kind of like Canva when it comes to marketing. It'll give you templates that you can plug and play with. And then it also gives you a free domain for a year with all of these. All right, let me make sure I show that. And there's a lot that could be covered in Wix, so I'll try not to go too far. All right, so for example, Log into my account. This is not the background of my website. This is just a general account for the sake of showing what you can do. Oh, just kidding, it is mine. All right, so this is just a suggestion, by the way. Whenever you make your website, you can copy it. So that's a really good idea in case something ever happens. You may delete something by accident. Someone else on your team may go in and accidentally delete or change something that you don't approve, or you may just want to play with the format. So always make a copy of it. So this is the one that is live for me, and these are backups that I've kind of just played with over time. So this is your sort of user interface when you first log in. There's so many things you can do. You can watch tutorials here. As you can see, they have a ton of training videos. They also do on YouTube. I mean, endless. So when you first start up, by the way, with Wix, and you go in, you say you're on a website before you even pay for anything, they now have an AI tool that will help you. You can say, I have a daycare business, and then it will ask you questions that correspond with the daycare. It will ask you again your theme, your color scheme, if you have a logo to put that in, and then it will populate everything according to your answers. So just for example, there was not one for consulting, so I had to populate this all myself. So just to say too, it's not fail proof. If you go to your website's background, I want to show all the things you can do with Wix. It will show you who's been on your website. I have not been using it, so you won't see any traffic here. Sales, site sessions. You can get found on Google, and they'll show you exactly how to do it. You can see that there's a list here of 1 through 10. They will literally take you through all of the steps to help you get set up on Google. With Google Ads, they give you $500 free when you first start to track local traffic from Google Search and Google Maps. Announce your site with personal posts on social media. You can create a post. I just want to open this and show you some of the options that it'll give before we go too far. So again, this is a lot like Canva. You can connect to all of your social media accounts, but it will also give you templates that you can plug into that I'll show in just a second. If you look on the left-hand side, there's an option that says getting paid. You can send someone just a direct link with an amount if you want them to go ahead and pay from their phone or from their computer. You can generate an invoice. You can generate a price quote, a proposal, or you can connect a POS system. So I think that's all really cool if you have a physical workspace as well or a brick and mortar. One of my favorites is the price quote, because what you can do is, let's say you're discussing a service with someone, but you haven't put it on paper. You can come into the price quotes. You can do a new quote. You would just put in their information, give it a title, choose your product or service. It will even add the taxes for you according to your state, so you don't have to worry about messing that up. You would just put your state in. You can put specific terms, and then it would email it to them as a quote. If they accept it, it will automatically send them an invoice. So you don't have to worry about going back and doing that again. Something else that I like about getting paid through Wix is that they accept Apple Pay, Afterpay, Google Pay, any credit cards. So that makes it super, 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 super simple. You can accept just about anything from anybody. Your booking calendar. So you can tie this into another calendar. Let's say you use Google, for example, for your email. As you can see, this is tied to my Google Calendar. I'm busy right now, so no one can book with me right now. These are other appointments I've had. You can put your staff on here as well and show that they're busy, but that way someone can go on your website and schedule a call with you or someone else around your other appointments. You can see all of your sales here. You can even create subscription plans. You can sell gift cards. I have not used catalog, but if you have specific services that you can list online, as you can see, these are things I had in the past on my website, but you can also just hide them if you don't want them on the website. But you can do courses, webinars, so many different things. So I just like to show all of the options. The last thing I'll show you here, other than marketing, is you can create a custom app. I thought this was really good if you have something like, if you're a personal trainer or you have a gym, because they do really good with the fitness side of things. You'll go to mobile app, and you can do it from your phone as well. So you just click get started here, and it'll walk you through all the steps of creating your custom app. All right, last but not least is marketing. I'll show you my favorite thing here. You can create an email marketing campaign, but we don't have enough time for all of that. But I will show you social media marketing. So let's say you want to just create a new post. You can go with one of these if you see. You can choose just a picture, or if you want to do a video, you can choose a category if you want to do like a sale, fitness, e-commerce. You just click on the one you want. You can add words to it, again, just like Canva. You just walk through it and add all the information you want. You can share it directly to your social media accounts once you connect them. Test the video out, make sure it works and plays how you want it. See, it's already got some pictures in here and some words. You just change the wording, change the photos. It'll give you pictures straight from the internet or from your computer, whichever you want to use. And you've got a social media post. It's pretty straightforward. And then, of course, you can run your website through Wix. Last but not least. All right, back to the presentation. So Adobe has a lot of tools that some people don't know about, so I like to cover it. And it's also pretty cheap, $20 a month. I pay monthly because sometimes I honestly just don't need it. And that's just for an individual person. For a business, of course, it will cost a little bit more. And then there's a discounted rate for students and teachers. I just want to talk through some of the options with Adobe. It's not a good way to necessarily show through the presentation what you can do with it, but I do want to talk about it still. Actually, the best way may be to show you through my presentation. Can you guys see when I click on the toolbar, for example, on this presentation? Can you see this on the left-hand side? Does show? Okay. So since I do have a paid account, I want to show all the things you can do. As you can see, they also are using AI now. So there's an AI assistant. You can do a generative summary. So let's say I had a full report here and I want to generate a summary. All I would do is select that information, click that button. It would give me a summary created by AI. You can export a PDF and make it into a different file, edit a PDF. Let's say I wanted to change this. I could edit the PDF, change that price to $13, whatever the case may be. But you can only do all of these if you have the paid account. You can also create forms, which is something I did a lot when I first started the business. But then I started using Google Forms, which we'll talk about as well, because it's easier and it's free. So why not go with the easier free option? Um, it's pretty simple. You can also do, this is probably my favorite, request signatures. So you can go ahead and put in your custom signature. I put the date as well, because sometimes it's hard to, if you don't have the ability to print something out and then, sign it and send it back in. You can also just add the date there. But let's say, for example, this was one of those contracts I did on eforms.com. I will go in, I will sign it digitally myself, and then all you do is send it straight to the next person via email. They sign it, and then it sends both of you a certified copy that can't be changed. So that way, let's say I signed it, I send it to you, Michael, you sign it. Nobody can go in and change anything about it. So it's an official copy. And I think that's about as good as I can do with Adobe. But if you have any questions, please do ask. I think it's super affordable. It keeps you from needing DocuSign. There's also a lot of design you can do with it. It's not as easy as Canva, so I don't particularly love playing with that either. But if you do anything with a lot of reports or a lot of writing, a lot of documentation, this is really good to have. All right, and then my last is Google Workspace. I'm sure a lot of people know or are somewhat familiar with Google Workspace, but they have so many tools that, I mean, the list just goes on for days. So I'm glad we have a little bit of time to go through some of those. I won't go crazy. Just trying to get back to, and this is just showing you the prices up front. As you can see, there's a starter package, but these are all extremely cheap. I mean, $6, $12, $18 a month. And then, of course, if you have an enterprise, which is again, 50 plus employees, then you'd want to talk to the sales team directly and see what options they could have for you. But this gives you a custom business email address. You can do videos with up to 100 people. And of course, that is with Google Meetings versus Zoom. That way you don't have to pay for Zoom if you've been doing that. 30 gigabytes of storage, and that's through Google Drive. Security and management tools, and that is to make sure information shared via email is protected. And then just standard customer support. And that is just for the cheapest plan. As you can see, this goes up, all of this goes up with each tier. Let's go to workspaces so I can show you guys a couple of things, get some stuff out of the way. I'm going to go to my Gmail so that I can show you the easiest way to look through some of these tools. Sorry, there's a little bit of a delay. As you already know, I'm pretty sure about Google Mail, Google Forms that I mentioned, but there's a lot more to it. So we're going to go straight to my inbox and then I'll show from there. If it will ever open, we will get there. All right, I think we're good now. Let me know when you guys can see my Gmail. Should be able to see it now. Good, okay. So if you aren't familiar, you go to this right-hand side and go to the dots here. This is Google Apps. Again, this list is endless. If you've ever gone down to more from Google Workspace Marketplace, there's endless apps just like there are on your phone. But just to backtrack a little bit, you already know you have Gmail, you have Google Drive, you have Slides. So if you don't have Microsoft on your computer, it is not free. It used to come standard on computers, but it is not free if you don't have it. You can get away with using the Google option. So Google Docs, Google Sheets, which is Excel, and Google Slides, which is technically PowerPoint. What I like about using all of these is that if you have a team, you can all be in the same Google Workspace and all see all of these documents and all save them on Google Drive as well. So if I started a presentation on slides, anyone on the team can access it directly through Google Drive without me having to give them access to anything else. You can use chats, which I don't know anyone who uses it, and I don't understand why not, but you can chat just like you can with Microsoft Teams through Google as well. As you saw on Wix.com, my calendar was tied in directly with Wix. And again, that's straight through Google. You can create forms. I use a lot of standard forms for intake with new clients, just to ask the basic questions. You can even do a free website through Google Sites if you didn't know that. And you can also keep all of your contacts here. You can connect to YouTube, Maps, Photos, all of the above. So if you didn't know, you can download Google Photos to your phone as well. So when you take photos, they will also save automatically here. So it's almost like having a cloud for your photos. Google Keep is also amazing for notes. I like to use that on my phone when I'm in a meeting, and that way it is also saved straight to my Google. Google Earth we won't get into, that's a whole other beast as well. But you can also have a phone line through Google Voice. You can save your passwords to Google, which I do not do, but you can do that as well. So let's go to the marketplace so I can just show a couple of examples. If you aren't familiar with mail merge or sending multiple emails in bulk, this is a good one, Yam. And about 80% of these are free, by the way. Of course, just like with most apps on your phone, it's free to an extent. Then when you want to do, certain things, you'll have to pay for it, but you can get a lot of resources for free. See, there's an AI business coach, a Salesforce connector if you use Salesforce. There's an AI chat GPT tool that you can use in your docs. I have used this before. So basically what it does is as you're typing in any of the Google platforms, whether it's Gmail, Slides, Excel, it can help you kind of determine the best way to word your statement. So it'll give you suggestions as you go. Let's say, for example, I say, again, I want to open a daycare soon. It will reword that to make it more professional, more meaningful, and to give it more sustenance than what you had initially. But I like to show this just to show, I mean, there's endless options. You can go here to the filters and see, let's say maybe you use slides a lot. You just want to see which ones you can use with slides. And then you can see you can use mail merge with slides with your Gmail. I don't know about Loom apps. You can see intelligent apps here, and that these are powered by AI to help you work smarter and save time. These help you work from everywhere, which means they usually help you work from your phone and your computer equally, or from another computer that's not yours. But I just want you to see that there's so many options, and this is just for slides. You can also see they have the option to look at any free of charge or paid. So again, there's still countless apps that are completely free. There's things for students, for business owners, for people who just aren't good with technology. They can help you a lot, a lot, a lot. All right, go back to my presentation. And I believe that is all I had. So you guys actually get some time back. Michael, did you want to do a Q&A session or?
Yeah, if anyone has questions and you'd like to come on to either come on camera or open your microphone up and ask Brittany a question, you can either type in the chat or you can just speak up and ask away.
And I can go back to any of the slides if you like and answer any questions.
I was really glad to learn about, I've never seen the eForms website or the Wix stuff before, so I was very happy to learn about those two things, especially the eForms thing. I'll
Yes.
play around with that. I'll probably have some questions after this once I've looked at it a little bit.
And I stumbled upon Wix sort of by accident. I had a trainer a few years ago, and he was just a little bit older, and he wasn't super familiar with technology. And so he asked for my help. And so I said, just give me your login, and I'll just kind of play with it. And once I got in it, my website wasn't even hosted through Wix. But once I saw everything you could do, I changed it the same day. Like, oh my gosh, you can do everything here. You don't need QuickBooks. You don't need another marketing platform. You don't have to have Canva if you just want to do marketing. You can just use that, and it's all included in that one price. They also have apps, which I actually didn't cover. But again, it's the same thing with Google. There's so many. We can go down that rabbit hole for hours. But if you have time, go ahead and hop on there. To create an account is free. To create a basic website is $17. If you don't want to have things like you can accept payments, that would give you a higher account, that you would require. If you want to put videos on there, that would require a higher account. But again, we're talking $30 a month, $40 a month. I saw someone asked a question, but I missed it. Let's see. Oh, so thanks for mentioning ChatGPT. It's super helpful if used correctly. And I know some folks are still hesitant to use it. Yes, I was one of those people for a long time. My husband is more of a tech guy, and he sort of forced me into it because he mentioned it at least once a week. Like, are you using ChatGPT? Are you using ChatGPT? I'm like, no, I don't even want to think about it right now. But once I got into it, I understood why he kept asking me that. And I do feel like it's going to make us not so smart because we'll be really reliant on it, but it makes life so much easier. It does allow you to focus on bigger picture items more. For example, again, if you're just trying to think of how to word your mission statement, if you're just trying to think of the best way to word any statement, instead of you spending 30 minutes doing that, you can go to ChatGPT and say, I need a good mission statement that says I'm passionate about children, I'm available these hours a day. Write up everything from our website to say these things. It'll do that for you. And that way you can focus on your actual business and what you're trying to deliver and not those small things. I mean, they have a big impact, but that could go from days to maybe an hour max to get those things done with something like ChatGPT. Someone said Canva Pro, it upgrades to the free version. It's free for nonprofits. I didn't know that. So that's good to know. Oh, I know that Monday.com is free for nonprofits. If anyone's familiar with Monday, I probably should have put that in my presentation. That is something I didn't know until my husband told me about that because he works with a nonprofit now. So if you need a good management system, good for project management, that's a really good one. You can put the entire team in there, manage all of your projects, add attachments, you can do automation. So if you want to send out reminders automatically, you can set those automations up to go out to certain people on the team or even to certain clients. Super, super, super helpful. It's not that easy to set up, I will say that. But once you get it set up, I mean, it's another one of those platforms where you could be using 6 or you could just be using this one that does everything those 6 do. I think that's it. A huge fan of Grammarly. Yes, I did not mention Grammarly. The only reason I stopped using Grammarly was because I was told about something else recently called Quillbot, and I'll type it into the chat if you guys want to check it out. I learned about this after I put my presentation together. It's quillbot.com. It uses AI as well, but if you are, I won't say in school, but again, if you write a lot or you do a lot of reports, or if you work with anyone who doesn't speak English as their first language, it's really good because you can put in any statement, even if it's from ChatGPT. You can shorten it. You can put it in another language. You can make it more formal. You can make it more casual. You can make it academic. Super easy. And this came from someone who was working on their PhD. And so they said it really helped them get through reports and research in school. So I thought that's a really good tool. I think I pay, I don't want to make up a number. I think $15 a month for it, and it's monthly. So if I don't use it, I just don't pay for it that much. Like, can Canva Pro be used by more than one employee? It can. I think pretty sure the price goes up, but I know now for one of the organizations that I'm helping, we just use the same login, just to be honest. Just to be transparent.
And while we're
Melissa's
throwing
saying
out
something.
free resources for nonprofits, the Microsoft Office suite is also at a certain level free for nonprofits as well. And you
I
can
didn't
get
know
grants
that.
for that too. Yeah, yeah. They have a
Oh,
program that nonprofits can utilize for free. I think it's, I don't know exactly what level, but
yeah,
if you typed into the Google search Microsoft Suite, Microsoft 365 free nonprofits, it'll take you to the right
it'll
website.
come
So
up.
you have to have a
Good to know.
501c3. So yeah.
That's good to know.
Mhm.
Melissa says there's a Teams version that costs but helps with separate multiple users work. Yes, and you guys are sharing the presentation, correct?
That's right. This webinar, we'll share the presentation with you guys, and the webinar, the video of the webinar will be posted and publicly available on the website, so everybody can go back and take a look if you missed something.
And I do have my contact information on there if anybody has any questions. I'll be happy to answer. I guess I get to give you guys some time back.
Awesome, awesome. Well, Brittany, this was really helpful. I learned a few things that I need to go take a look at now and do some research on and see how we can utilize them in our own work. So, and I'm sure a lot of people are leaving here with that same directive to go to do some exploring and see what they can do with these things. So, thank you for sharing all that great information.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, everyone. If there are no questions, then yep, we'll give you a few minutes back in your day. You can start an early lunch, and we look forward to seeing you at our next event, whether that's a training or one of our scheduled events or our next webinar.
Thank y'all.
Thank you, Brittany.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Carol,
Thank
bye.
you so much. Great information. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rhonda.
Thank you.